Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Well, the issue of ILP or Inner Learning Permit has been dominating Sikkim politics in the last few weeks or more. The campaign on ILP has been led by Hamro Sikkim party chief Bhaichung Bhutia, who has been pressing for the urgent need for the legislation to protect the indigenous population of the Himalayan state. Bhutia's call for ILP has significantly also found support from the BJP, which is a coalition partner in the SKM-led government in the state. This in turn has also led even the SKM to say that it is not opposed to the ILP, but that comes with a rider, which we'll talk about later in the show. The question we're asking tonight is, does Sikkim really need ILP? Is ILP the only solution to tackle influx? Has the Hamro Sikkim found the much needed momentum, courtesy the ILP campaign? We'll discuss many other issues relating to Sikkim politics and issues concerning the Himalayan state in course of our discussion. And we are being joined today by the one and only Bhaichung Bhutia, the president of Hamro Sikkim party, and of course, star footballer, former Indian football captain Bhaichung Bhutia. A very warm welcome to you, sir, on Bottom Line.
Thank you very much.
I would have loved, on any other day, I would have loved to discuss football with you, but we have, of course, have equally pressing issues to discuss as far as the Himalayan state of Sikkim is concerned, and you, in your new avatar, are taking up a lot of issues concerning the state you belong to. First, of course, let us come to the ILP issue that you have been relentlessly campaigning for in the last few months. At a time when people say that we are one globe, it's a global economy, global world. Why is Sikkim all of a sudden looking for ILP implementation?
I think 2-3 reasons. One obviously is the national security, because Sikkim is located geographically surrounded by 3 foreign countries, China, Nepal and Bhutan. And then if you go another 2 hours drive, you reach Bangladesh, which is 4 countries. So I think one of the main reason also is the national security. Second is, I think there has been a huge influx in Sikkim over the years now. To give you an example, if you look at the voter list increase in 2019 from what we had in 2014, the percentage of voter rose to 18% in Sikkim. When Sikkim is the lowest rate in fertility in terms of giving birth. Fertility rate is the lowest in India. And if you compare that with Bengal, neighboring state, and Bihar. Bihar today is the highest in fertility rate. Bengal today has got 4 or 5 times of a higher fertility rate than Sikkim. But their percentage of vote share increase from 2014 to 19 is just 11%, whereas Sikkim has got 18%. So there is huge number of fake voters that's come in, and I think these are signs that can change the demography of Sikkim as well. Today, you've got influx everywhere, and we don't want in a longer run that Sikkim should change its demography through all this fake COI, fake voters, fake residential certificate holders. And this is where I think we have a huge threat. And at the same time, today Sikkim is one of the largest drugs. In cases of drugs, we are hitting number 1. Today, crime rate is gone up so high. And what the data shows also is a lot of the crime rates and data are done by people from outside the Sikkim. So I think it's very important to have a data of people coming and going out of Sikkim. Since already 4 northeast states, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, Arunachal have inner line permit, I think Sikkim deserves to get it, because geographically location, I think compared to the rest 4 states, I think Sikkim is more sensitive and more dangerous where we are located.
But do you think that's I mean, for instance, the state of Meghalaya, in the state of Meghalaya also right now, there's a big demand for ILP. The Meghalaya Assembly had also passed a resolution, unanimous resolution on ILP, and it's still pending with the centre. And this is going to be a major poll issue in the Hill State, which is going to elections early next year. Again, there also stakeholders are raising questions that is ILP the only solution? Something you spoke about right now, the rise in the percentage of voters, 18%. That's huge comparing to some states like Bihar and Bengal, where the population rise is much more than Sikkim. But these are issues that also have to be solved at the administration level. Do you think ILP is the only solution or one of the solutions that must be implemented to at least partially take care of the damage done?
I think it is the main solution to at least the state of Sikkim, because I think if we have a data of who's coming out, who's going, it's very important that if tourists are coming to Sikkim, it's not going to be difficult for any tourist or any people working in Sikkim. You've got central government people working here, you've got private companies people working here. I think they just need to get this inner line permit, which takes 2 minutes to get that. But it's important that we have that data so that people coming into Sikkim with inner line permit, whether it's tourists or whether it's a central government, people who are working here or private companies, they have a time period. If they have a contract or a job for 2-3 years, they can have a longer inner line permit. Tourists who are coming in can come in the duration of their holidays and then go back. We don't want people to stay here and then start making fake documents, which is going to be a biggest threat for Sikkim. And in fact, few months ago, we had two gentlemen from in Jantar Mantar protesting about Article 371F. So one of the gentlemen actually came to Sikkim. He's a resident of Bihar. He came, married a local girl, and then I think he also was working in villages. And then after some time, their marriages didn't work out. So the wife family, I think, had some issues, and then he was, I think, not kept, or some kind of problem started, and he had to leave Sikkim. And then we saw him next day was in Jantar Mantar protesting, saying that 371F should be there. If you have ILP, then you know exactly who's coming in. If we had that, we would know that why is he coming? Is he coming as tourist visa? Is he coming as working tourist ILP or a working ILP? So that he could, if he's getting married to a local girl as well, we would know that somebody is coming or getting married. So I think that information, that data is very, very important to have, so that we have right people coming in. They are most welcome to come to Sikkim, enjoy the beautiful state of Sikkim, enjoy the hospitality. You can come and work here, but once you come and work, I think you have a contract with any private or a government, central government. You work it after you finish your work. I think you need to obviously go back. Not stay and start making fake documents, which a lot of cases that's happening in Sikkim right now. So I think these are things which we need to have data, and we need to check and balance and make sure that people come here, but at the same time, they can come and work and then go back.
Now the BJP, which is a coalition partner in the ruling alliance, has expressed support to the ILP demand of Hamro Sikkim party. Does that give a sense of the public mood? Does it say that the people of Sikkim are also vouching for ILP?
I think people of Sikkim definitely are vouching for ILP because, today it's not just about permit, but it's also about issues that connects with everyone, from employment, from, crimes. That's what it's happening. So I think people of Sikkim is definitely in demand of ILP. Yes, it's good to see that the local BJP leaders have supported it.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. Do you think you have actually forced the BJP? You have actually forced the BJP to come out in support of you through your relentless campaign. Would you look at it that way?
I don't think so. They have come out openly and supported, and it's also taken out the issue in assembly. But our thing is, it's not about only speaking or taking out in assembly. They need to make sure that they have 12 MLAs in assembly today. They need to force the coalition partner of theirs to pass a resolution like what Meghalaya did and give it to the center. And at the same time, the BJP MLAs and the president of BJP here in Sikkim should approach the center, because the center is a BJP ruling government. So I think they need to also go to the center and demand, and also put an application to the center saying that Sikkim requires that, because Amit Shah ji gave Manipur as a gift ILP to Manipur. So I think that is something which people of Sikkim would be very happy to get a gift like ILP from Mr. Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah to Sikkim. So I think the local BJP should not only speak, I think they should also take it in action and deliver it.
You have also submitted memorandums to the CM, Sikkim CM and PS Tamang. What are the reservations that the ruling SKM has over ILP? Yes, they have said we are not opposed to ILP, but they have said only when the left out communities get tribal status. That will be a long process, of course. What are the reservations that the Sikkim government or the ruling party has over ILP? Has that been conveyed to you? Has that been conveyed to Hamro Sikkim?
I think ruling SKM in their manifesto itself is written that ILP is something they would want to demand. But unfortunately, Mr. P.S. Gole is become the chief minister through a backdoor entry. So today, I think for him to raise any issues in Sikkim is very, very difficult. I think he's more going to Delhi, meeting all top level ministers to anybody powerful people in Delhi is only to bargain for his own safety and security and to at least complete the term. So he's not been able to keep demands of Sikkim because I think he does not want to upset center and the leadership there. So which is very unfortunate, that's what we've been seeing. Including, forget ILP, is not even asked for better roads for Sikkim, which is controlled by National Highway. He's not even gone to Nitin Gadkari ji or Amit Shah ji, who was here in Sikkim. And a few days ago, Mrs. Gole was also in Delhi on the meeting with Home Ministry. So this demands for Sikkim, he's never been able to keep it. He's just saying about 12 left out communities, but 12 left out communities has been there for very long. In fact, 12 left out communities for tribal status was a demand that started with Trinamool Congress TMC. Madam Mamata Banerjee had written a letter to Manmohan Singh. I think this was way in 2012-13 for 12 left out communities to be tribal. So it's from then on it's been going on. So till today I think it's not got it. So I think that can still go on, but ILP is a different thing, different demand altogether, and which he can always place it.
Now, it's certain that ILP is going to be a poll issue in Sikkim. Elections are not very far away, I must say. Are you looking at the permutations and combinations? Are you looking at possible allies? Is it possibly the SDF, or probably will you reach out even to the BJP because election time, yes, right now they are in the government, but you never know what happens during poll time. Is Hamro Sikkim looking at prospective allies, or is Hamro Sikkim confident of going it alone once again this time and definitely riding on the ILP issue?
See, right now I think Hamro Sikkim is doing everything on our own. ILP demand has been something which we've initiated, and we've also said that it's not only Hamro Sikkim party's demand. This demand we wanted to make it for demand of Sikkim, and we've invited all the political parties to come and have a Jan Sansad, which we had it 2-3 weeks ago. In that, sadly, I think the two biggest regional party, Sikkim Democratic Front and SKM, did not come in, which I think is a big, it's not a setback, but I think it's very unfortunate that two regional parties did not come forward. In that, all the parties, including BJP and other parties, and a lot of intellectual groups came in. But it was very unfortunate the two local regional parties did not come in and I think put on their views. So yes, I think with SKM it's very clear that they have it in a manifesto, but they've never spoken about it from the time they've come into power. So we are looking obviously at any party, whether it's a national or a regional party, they should be vocal and come and support, because this is to safeguard Sikkim and Sikkimese people, but at the same time it is also to safeguard the country. So if any parties in favor and are fully supporting this, we are happy to come together and work for inner line permit. And right now, as I said, politically I think we are going on our own, and in future any national party or regional party which has same interest.
So are you saying you're willing to work with any
same principles as Hamro Sikkim party to ILP, to protect ILP and bring in ILP, then we are okay to, speak to them and go ahead and see what it can be done.
In Tripura, Pradyut Debbarma's party, the Tripura Motha, is also leading a campaign for a greater Tripura land. And now the question is, Debbarma had once spoken of a greater alliance of regional parties. It may not be electoral, but regional parties standing for each other's cause in the Northeast. Are you in touch with any regional forces, regional parties in the Northeast to back your cause?
I think Pradyut Debbarman and I am good. We are good friends, and in fact, we both went to Civil Aviation Minister for demanding of more air connectivity in Sikkim. He wanted an announcement in his own language. So yes, we are good friends. Obviously, it's important for all the regional parties in Northeast to stick together because a lot of our issues and a lot of our demands are quite similar. In fact, even Pradyut was also in favor of inner line permit in Tripura. Obviously, he's asking for a separate, I think, statehood, which is, I think, for his people. So there are a lot of issues that relates us within the Northeast, and I think it will be good to have all the regional parties having who's got same ideology and want to protect Northeast and fight for their own people. I think there's nothing wrong in coming and discussing and see how it goes.
Now, as you just mentioned, you met, of course, the Union Minister Scindia, Jyotiraditya Scindia, just a couple of days back. Let's talk about connectivity first, starting with air connectivity. Of course, flights again suspended from the Pakyong airport. What is the discussion? Could you tell us something about your discussion with Mr. Scindia?
See, I think today Sikkim, we are badly connected. Connectivity wise, I think we are struggling. We have only national highway through roads which we are connected, and our national highway is in a very, very bad condition for the last 5-6 months. And every time monsoon happens, after monsoons, we struggle during the monsoon and after monsoon. And it's been a major issue. Now, flight is one of the most important thing for Sikkim because it's a tourist destination state. Our people rely on tourists. And with flight connectivity, at least you were getting good quality tourists coming in. And that actually helps the economy grow as well. But with SpiceJet from 1st of November, they've shut down, and it was only one airline, SpiceJet, that flew to Pakyong Sikkim airport. So our demand was, my demand was to Honorable Minister that we want more connectivity. So he's been very, very positive. He said he's going to speak to Indigo, who also has ATR flights, and hopefully maybe Air India themselves, Indian Airlines, Air India, who's got ATR flights, to start connecting Sikkim with other cities. Another issue which we also demanded was Pakyong and Bagdogra airport. Now Bagdogra airport in Siliguri is used by people from Sikkim, people from the hills in Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Kurseong. So if they could make an announcement in Nepali language as well, because obviously Nepali is now a language that is spoken all across, and it's also a language that is even accepted in the parliament now with the government of India. So it's a recognized language, and a lot of people would feel more comfortable because a lot of people from the hills would not understand Hindi, Bengali and English. So I think announcement in Nepali would really help people from the hills.
Absolutely. You also spoke about the poor road infra in Sikkim. Is the Hamro Sikkim trying to connect with the people in villages, in districts, in remote parts through these issues that you feel is afflicting the state and which you say, quote unquote, has remained unaddressed?
Yes, in fact, we've started a campaign through our social media, and we've got more than hundreds of response with pictures about their own village, about their own town, about the own area where the road connectivity is, road facilities and the infrastructure or the conditions of the road are in very, very bad state. Now, let us not forget, we had 2 to 3 years of COVID, and there's no vehicle movement. What is the state government doing? The roads were not used then as well. Now, after the COVID is picked up, at least they should be able to at least maintain and manage roads. The budget is coming. The budget is not being used anywhere because of the COVID, there was no development that has been done because everything was standstill. But the money is still coming. Where was those money gone in? So we are now hearing that the monsoon is stopped, the roads are going to get repaired, but I don't know how many roads are going to get repaired. So I think every road, it's just not the national highway, the state highway and the rural area roads are in a very, very pathetic state. And I think every village, every rural area, if you go today, one of the biggest problem is the road, and one of the biggest reason for our tourism to get low this year is because of the road conditions in different villages, and it affects the villagers, it affects the taxi drivers who do tourism, it affects a lot of homestay owners who runs different homestays in villages, it affects a lot of hotel industries who are doing hotels in different small town areas. So I think if the road is not good in Sikkim, which is the only lifeline for us, then I think our entire economy has a huge effect on that. And the current government, SKM government, has been a big failure in just at least maintaining the road which was built by the past governments.
Coming to another issue that you highlighted and that has been doing rounds, but when it comes to Sikkim, of course, we talk about the good things, the tourism, the natural resources, the scenic beauty, but Sikkim is faced with another problem, that of drug abuse, the problem of drugs. Do you think that has by and large remained unattended?
I think so, and it's not been tackled properly as well. Now, if you look at Sikkim today, it's a very sad thing, but we are one of the highest suicide rate cases in India today, and I think it's a lot also to do with drug addiction. Today, Sikkim, if you look at the child protection, I think we are number one in terms of child molestation, and we've not been able to protect our children as well. So yes, there are issues which can be dealt, and I think these are things where the government should have a proper planning, proper organization, proper awareness programs to make sure that these are handled. And you can't only look at people who are taking drugs here. I think you need to look at the source of drugs. You should have network with other states, other home ministries, especially Bengal or other northeast states, and try and make sure that the supply itself is cut.
It's an alarming issue. Do you think it's an alarming issue in Sikkim, or still under control? How would you rate it?
It is definitely an alarming issue, because we've not been able to control it for very long time now. And I think to control, it's just not about drugs. You need to get our youth into a lot of other activities away from drugs. I think sports is something which you can completely get our youth to focus in, but our sports infrastructure development, our investment in sports is been pathetic. Recent national games which happened in Gujarat, we had only 6 athletes gone to participate in national games, whereas you've got delegations of hundreds and thousands going to Arunachal, going to Gujarat for political issues, or going to Maharashtra to just inaugurate one Sikkim house. But when you have to send sports people to a national event, you've just had 6 participants. So I think there are a lot of things to divert youth to get into drugs, awareness, but also other things like sports, but they have not been focusing and doing anything on those lines.
Let's talk about the Limbu Tamang reservation issue now. What is the HSP model for it? What's the view of your party on it?
See, Limbu Tamang seat is something which HSP is always, from the day it started, we've supported it, and we feel that they need to get the seats. Now, SKM, obviously the current government is come into power, promising Limbu Tamang seats, and they're promised in 100 days. Today, you have a chief minister who is a Tamang himself. You've got only one MP that's from Sikkim. We have only one Lok Sabha MP. He is a Limbu. When you have 2 powerful persons today representing Limbu Tamang community, this is the best time the government should be delivering it. And especially when you've got an alliance with BJP in the center. Now, if they don't deliver it this time, then where is the hope of Limbu Tamang seat coming in future? When you've got Tamang CM and a Limbu Lok Sabha MP, and with a coalition with BJP, I think the SKM government should be serious in delivering it.
Absolutely, well put. Coming back once again, Mr. Bhutia, to the ILP issue, do you think this is of course issues like this? So the ILP, you have talked about the problem of drug abuse, the problem of infrastructure, road infrastructure. Do you think it's issues like this through which you can connect with the masses, will give you a real chance, in the upcoming assembly elections? If I ask you today, if elections were to be held in say 3 months' time, let's assume, is the Hamro Sikkim confident of getting at least some numbers in the assembly? How do you look at it, or you are not looking at it that way as of now?
See, I think first of all, rather than Hamro Sikkim party or Bhaichung Bhutia wanting all this, it's more important for people of Sikkim to get and want all this, because it's protecting Sikkim and Sikkimis. It's not for a self or a Hamro Sikkim party to, to benefit out of this and make it an electoral thing and just win and just try and get and win for the chair. And I think that's what the politics in Sikkim has been. The politics in Sikkim so far, it's just been about the post and the chair. I think now we need to go beyond that. People of Sikkim should actually now not think of political parties, but they need to think about themselves. Which political parties or the leaders can actually work for people of Sikkim and the Sikkimese interest. I think that is the mindset people of Sikkim will have to develop, rather than political parties going to them and saying that this and that and giving them false promise. I think they need to choose right leaders who can deliver it. And so far, I think in Sikkim, one of the biggest setback is a lot of our political leaders have been looking into only self-benefit, winning the election, getting into that chair, but at the end, not really fighting for the Sikkimese people and the Sikkimese issue. So I think now people of Sikkim will have to be much more aware and stand out and to be aware and get out of those politics and make sure that they choose the right leader, right party that would sincerely work for benefit of Sikkimese and Sikkimese people.
Do you think there is an opposition? There is any opposition in Sikkim right now? Well, technically, I can say there is almost none. But let's not take it literally. But do you think? Let me put it this way: do you think the Hamro Sikkim party has now become the opposition? Probably not the SDF. Through your campaigns, relentless campaigns on various issues, do you think it's the HSP which can be looked at as the primary opposition force in Sikkim? Do you look at it that way?
I think at the moment, the Hamro Sikkim party is the only opposition party in Sikkim. Because if you look at it, SKM, SDF are all part of NEDA and all part of NDA alliance with BJP. So, SKM is also BJP, SDF is also BJP. And obviously they have a government and they're all in NDA. So we are the only party actually that's been raising issues on Sikkim and been very vocal on the government that has been, trying to completely give away all our political or our rights which Sikkim as a Sikkim people enjoy it. I think that is where we've been very vocal and we've been opposing to every issues that I think the SKM government is misusing it. So I think Hamro Sikkim party is the only party that is an opposition party at the moment in Sikkim.
Since I have Bhaichung Bhutia on the show, we'll talk definitely a bit about sports. Do you think Sikkim, despite being a sporting state, has not been able to realize its full sporting potential, be it in football, be it in contact sports, be it in athletics, be it in boxing, be it in Olympic sports? Do you think somewhere Sikkim has missed the bus?
I think there is a huge interest in sports with the people of Sikkim. It's just that we've not been able to have the right policies, right structure in Sikkim for sports. I think the government of Sikkim can do much more, work much closely with the state associations in different boxing, football, athletics. I think the government has to have that support. Today, sadly, I think football is the number one sport in Sikkim. Even football associations have zero revenue. They've got no money at all to do leagues Forget the Sikkim League. They can't do anything for the grassroots as well. They don't have their own ground under their control. If they have to do a league or they have to do any football event, they'll have to go begging to the government. And just one stadium or two stadium in entire Sikkim, it's always booked with some other sporting activities or some other things have been booked. So I think it's very unfortunate that our policies are not right. Our sports persons are not given a lot of privilege if they play India. I think as a small state in Sikkim, they need to have a job reservation. We don't encourage that as well. Today, if you look at it, some of our players who played for India or even played for state for a very long time does not have any support from the government in terms of job as well.
Let's
and that
talk about
demoralizes a lot of them to get into sports, and it's not a great example.
Let's talk about football. For instance, we had a number of footballers from Sikkim who have played for the Northeast clubs and other clubs across India. But if we think of clubs from the Northeast, let's talk about the I-League. When the I-League was at its prime, we cannot still think about clubs from Sikkim doing well. The club culture probably, despite the talent, despite the support, that never really took off. Why do you think that happened? I mean, we have so many good footballers, youngsters coming from Sikkim.
See, I think if you look today in I-League in today's time, Sikkim has got 7 or maximum 8 players playing in I-League or ISL. You compare that with Mizoram. Mizoram has got almost 50 to 60 players playing in I-League and ISL. Compare that with Manipur, that has got 60 to 70 players playing in ISL I-Leagues. Even Assam obviously is a bigger state. They have obviously 10, 11 players playing. It's very unfortunate that we don't have that support. I run a football club which is one of the biggest in Sikkim. I don't have any support from anywhere, neither corporate sponsorship, I don't have government support, and anywhere. I spend everything through my own pocket to run a club and I have to obviously make them play leagues, I have to give them exposure outside Sikkim, play tournament, play matches. That's all on the cost. How many people can do that in Sikkim today? It's only few people. So there are only few clubs, that few interest people who's got passion for it are running it, trying to make ends meet and run the club. So there's no support system from any angle for any clubs to really make it big. We had few sponsors in 2010 when I started United Sikkim Football Club. That is the time we went on to play I-League, which was the biggest and the highest league in India. That's the only time when Sikkim players, at least 17 to 18 players from Sikkim were playing in I-League directly. So once you don't have a club playing in I-League or ISL or a second division, then number of players from Sikkim goes down quite drastically. Today Manipur has got 2-3 teams playing in I-League. You've got Mizoram clubs playing in I-League, second division I-League. You've got Assam, which has got ISL today. So Sikkim, that way I think, our structure with the Football Association and structure with the sports department is not been right. So that's the reason why we've not been able to give that kind of platform and support to players from Sikkim.
I'll not keep you much longer, but coming back to the political part, Mr. Bhutia, in the last assembly elections, of course, Hamro Sikkim had in a way a big launch, and it had Bhaichung Bhutia, the big name attached to it. Why do you think still the campaign did not go the way you wanted to? Could you identify some of the reasons why probably the HSP didn't click last time, and what is the HSP doing differently this time?
See, I think HSP was six months to 9 months old party when we went into election, and obviously it was a big challenge, and we did not expect any major thing or even win seat, but we wanted to start in 2019 to make sure that people are aware of Hamro Sikkim party. Yes, I was the face, I wasn't the president. I have just become president of Hamro Sikkim party 2-3 months ago. Yes, now over the years, I think we've got our organization right. We're making our structure and our political party. We're going through grassroots and building the party up. At the same time, we've been also raising all the issues which is really hampering Sikkim and Sikkimese people. So we've been very vocal about that. So I think any political party takes time, and in a smaller state like Sikkim, I think it's a huge, huge challenge because you don't see many people doing open politics in a small state and small population. And we knew that obviously it's going to be a big, big struggle in 2019, and we wanted to launch it. We wanted to make sure that people are aware of Hamro Sikkim party, and we were obviously looking at long term. A lot of people thought after 2019 we would not be there, we would shut down the party, but here we are today in 2020, 22, being the main opposition party in Sikkim and making all the noises which is against the people of Sikkim. So yes, we are here, and I think for us it's just been uphill growth from what we started in 2019.
My last question to you, Mr. Bhutia, what is the Hamro Sikkim party's vision for the state?
I think it's very clear to work for the people of Sikkim. In fact, our own line, which is our motto and attack line, is Sikkim ko Atma, Sikkime ko Atma. So we want to have the rights of Sikkim in control of Sikkimese people. We don't want people from Delhi, whether it's a Congress or a BJP or anybody else, to tell us what to do, what not to do. And it has to be for the people of Sikkim and ruled, controlled and decided by people of Sikkim, especially with when you have Article 371F. I think people of Sikkim should decide for people of Sikkim and have the power with them, and not be a puppet government like what SKM government is right now to central.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bhaichung Bhutia, President Hamro Sikkim, of course, the best footballer, one of the best footballers India has seen. Next time round, we hope to have a discussion on football. But thank you so much for all your insight and your views and plans for the state of Sikkim. We wish you all success. Thank you so much for your time.